Hey, everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a schedule prediction for the University of Georgia. I think I'm going to do a bunch of these in the off season, going through teams, looking at their games, and trying to decide how they will handle their schedule. I'm going to try to predict which games they win. It's the off season, so not much content to go around, so I'm going to do that. So let's get into it. I think the Georgia fans have a lot to be excited about. I do. They got a good looking squad coming into this next year. And so I'm going to look at their schedule right here. And I'm going to take an unbiased look at the schedule because it's important to be unbiased in these things. You don't want anything like that affecting your decisions. It's clearly a professionally good idea to take all emotion out of it and everything. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just a regular college football fan. I've got my college football hat on, and I'm just going to look at the schedule and try and see what I can go. So first up off the bat here, we have in week 1 a game against Clemson. This is the matchup everyone is talking about, isn't it? In the regular season, you don't get a lot of top 5 matchups, and whatever poll you look at, Clemson, Georgia is going to be in the top 5 for each one. So this is an exciting matchup. I'm going to go to the game, yes, as an unbiased spectator. It's going to be a great game, but the unfortunate news that George Pickens and Jermaine Burton have gone down, and it's looking like they'll both be out for the remainder of the season. That is not good for Georgia because those two, well, George Pickens in specific, had some of the most production on their offense, and Georgia struggled to get a really elite offense going these past couple of years. So it was looking good for them. The chemistry that JT Daniels and George Pickens has, it was a dangerous combination. So that is actually a huge loss for Georgia to lose him. And combine that with the fact that Clemson has all these starters returning. They've got most of their defense returning. They are missing Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, and losing those two, huge deal. But DJ Uiagalelei came in for 2 games last season and absolutely lit it up on the field. He did threw for 400 so yards. Played in their biggest regular season game of the year against Notre Dame, and they did lose, but it wasn't because of him. He really did play a great football game, and I don't think that Clemson is going to miss a beat with him. He's going to do great things there, and I think that they'll make the playoffs and make the national championship, in my opinion, as what I think for Clemson. So I'm going to go ahead and give Georgia a loss week 1. Clemson just has too many returning weapons. Their entire defense and their depth at the running back position, they shouldn't struggle too much there. They just have so much talent, and losing George Pickens and Jermaine Burton is just leaves too many questions on the Georgia offense. What would have been a more level playing field is now a bit uneven because of those 2 losses. Really unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Next in their schedule, they have UAB. Now, UAB, very good for what they are. Okay, they were conference champions last year, but they have to come into Athens for this showdown. So, yeah, I just don't see this game being close, unfortunately. UAB is going to roll. Georgia's going to start out 0-2. That's not going to be good for the Bulldogs. Next, okay, I think this could be a trap game, is South Carolina. You look at South Carolina and underestimate them because they have first-year coach Shane Beamer taking control. And I think Shane Beamer, although he is an unknown as far as his coaching, he's never been a head coach or even a coordinator before. So nobody knows what to expect from the Shane Beamer. But with the talent that they do have, and South Carolina doesn't recruit terribly. They're definitely not the worst in the SEC. So I think this will be a trap game where South Carolina gets a hold of Georgia and beats them, because Georgia will be looking ahead to Vandy that they have to play the following week. So, yes, I do think South Carolina comes out with a win in this matchup. I think South Carolina will be able to sneak in there. They'll fall for the trap probably, and South Carolina will win this game. Next, we have Vandy. Oh, man, Vandy. They're going to be so good next year. They have all these weapons returning on offense. They got Sarah Fuller returning. I just don't see how this game can be close at all. Yes, first-year head coach Clark Lea. He's got tons to work with at Vanderbilt. He's going to do a great job and lead them to the promised land. And I just don't see a way Georgia can win this game, okay? So next we have Arkansas. Yes, Sam Pittman had his first COVID year as his first year of coach, which is outstanding that he was able to take this team that Chad Morris had left in shambles and get 3 SEC wins and the SEC only conference schedule. And remember at the start of the 2020 season when everybody was making jokes about how hard Arkansas schedule was? I remember. And look at what Sam Pittman was able to do with that. They could have easily had 5 wins. They had 2 very, very close losses to Mizzou and Ole Miss, which are no pushovers. Okay, so I think Arkansas will surprise some people this year. I think they will be decent. They have some tough competition in the SEC West, but the East obviously not as strong. So yes, I think Arkansas comes away with the victory here after giving them a fit in the first game last year. This Arkansas crew is going to be in tip-top shape after having a real spring practice and a little bit better recruiting. So yeah, Arkansas is going to win this. I'm sorry, UGA is going to lose. Next is Auburn. They're also going to be having a first-year head coach in Brian Harsin, who found success as the head coach of Boise State in the Mountain West Conference. I think that Boise State was a strong team. Brian Harsin's going to come in, and he's going to have a great first year. I think, yes. So if anybody remembers the last year's matchup between Auburn and Georgia, Georgia did not let Auburn score a single touchdown. Yeah, they won 6-30 so points. So Auburn did not score a single touchdown this year. So I think the reverse will happen this year. Georgia will not score a single touchdown, and Auburn will roll in this game. Yeah. Next is Kentucky. They are looking good lately. They're going to be competing for the East, I think. Them in Missouri this year. They're finally, I'm calling it this year, this might be a hot take, Kentucky will finally find a quarterback that can throw the ball, and this will be a huge successful season for Kentucky, and they will definitely be in the running for the East. This will be towards the end of the season, or towards the middle of the season, where we kind of have an idea of the standings of the East. So they're going to come in. This game is going to mean a lot. They're going to really need this win in order to get the East title. I think Kentucky, who had a very close game, good game with Georgia last year, I think they'll get it. I think they'll beat Georgia and go ahead and win. Then you have a bye week, before taking on Florida, who is losing a lot of talent. I think they're losing more talent than anybody else, really. Not losing any coordinators or anything, just players. So they lose the Kyles, yes, Kyle Trask and Pitts, and then they lose Kadarius Toney and their other high production wide receivers. So they're going to be hurting. Emory Jones didn't look good in the bowl game last year. It's going to be tough for Florida to win. But look, as silly as Dan Mullen may seem, okay, he developed that talent in the first place. He was able to get this crew going and get a decent team together. Now, all they got to do is have a decent working defense, and they can really bounce back hard. I'm not as low on Florida as everybody else is. I think they'll go ahead and win this. And I'll go ahead and make the prediction that they win next year too, because the Florida-Georgia rivalry has been 1-3s. So Florida wins 3 times, Georgia wins 3 times, Florida wins 3 times, Georgia wins 3 times. Now, this is the first time Florida won was last year, so this would be the second year, and then the third year, which would be 2022. They'll win that, and then win every other matchup for the rest of college football. Next is Mizzou, who was my other SEC East contender I had. I think they looked so good last year. They're on a great path. Like I said, with Kentucky, this will be an important game for them towards the end of the season coming in. They're going to be looking to prove something. Georgia will obviously be reeling from the loss from Florida, and I think Mizzou catches them in a bad spot, maybe a bit downtrodden, and goes ahead and beats them, and maybe clinch the spot in the East, depending on how it goes when they play Kentucky. I don't think Florida will be in a very good position to compete for the East. So, yeah, it'll be between Missouri and Kentucky. Next is Tennessee. You'll probably beat Tennessee. Yeah. Then you got powerhouse Charleston Southern. This is like the Super Bowl for Charleston Southern. Okay, I actually, if you want to know, I have Charleston Southern in my predictions going 0-11 until this point. So they'll come into Athens, get paid about $2 million. They'll come into Athens. It'll be their Super Bowl. They haven't won a game all year. And they go ahead and win in Athens. They get their first win of the season, and it's the thing that turns around the Charleston Southern program. Okay. And then we got Georgia Tech in Atlanta. In my unbiased opinion, I think Georgia Tech wins this. They've got so much talent returning. They've got Jeff Sims and Jahmyr Gibbs. That combo is looking on fire. It's looking so good. It's going to be hard to stop those two defenses, right? Coming back. They've recruited well. They have a lot of talent coming in from the transfer portal. They have a real spring practice now. It's a third year, so they're working out all those triple option transfers. Yeah, I think Georgia Tech is going to come in and win the clean old-fashioned hate rivalry. So there you have it, my unbiased opinion of the Georgia Bulldogs.